Hi everybody. You've requested some tips on double spinning, and my main suggestion is practicing your clipper to the point where you can throw your clipper very high up, which tends to be easier with larger bags. But regardless of which size bag you're using, one of the most important things is the texture of the ground you're playing on. So I find that too slippery of ground is no good. And the main reason I got good at double spins is because they're so enjoyable. I find it's quite easy to do a lot of clippers back and forth, but these are not suitable for double spins because they're not straight up. So practicing clipper on the same side until you can get it slightly over your head height. I try to get 3 in a row. Oh man, it's kind of tough today. Hurts my right knee a little bit trying to throw the bag really high up. So then once you've gotten those warmed up, the next step is to warm up all of the angles of your ankle. I like to do the walkovers to really warm it up nicely. And then osis. For some reason, it's easier to do double spinning osis than it is a double spinning clipper. So to warm it up, doing a normal spinning osis, mix back and forth like this, seems to be the easiest way. So you want to build your momentum into the double spin. So I'll give an example of what I think is the easiest way to build momentum. So although I did use my hands there after the double spin, I don't suggest doing that ever. It'd probably be easiest to practice a combo instead of double spinning that involves spinning twice so that you get used to the dizziness factor. So the really difficult 2 spin tricks in a row that I'm thinking of is spinning osis to in spinning osis to infinity. And if you practice that a lot, maybe in a week or 2, it'll become pretty easy for you. Once that becomes easy, it's easier to transition into some of the more difficult combos that can really help with double spin. Here's one. In spinning clipper on the far side. In spinning clipper on the near side is just a hard trick. It doesn't work out too well, and the only thing I can usually link off of that is a torque, like so. So I practiced a lot of these tricks for, I don't know, 5 years or so. And then I saw the movie The Matrix, and afterwards went out in the parking lot and was trying to do double spinning clipper. And what I found it had a lot to do with was the quadruple step momentum, like so. So let's see if I can make it a little louder so you can really hear it easily. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I guess it's really 3 steps and then the stall, which is simultaneous with the last one. So practicing those steps in between is good because it propels your body upward and off the ground. You want to be touching the ground at very even increments so that each time you do a double spinning trick, it builds memory into the subconscious, so you don't have to think about it as much the next time. Just practicing these spinning clippers, it's a pretty different trick. You'd think that a double spinning clipper is really close to the same, but they feel very different. And let's see if I can bust out a couple right now and think of anything else to say. None of those felt great. It's too hard to start without any momentum. So you really, that made it feel like I wasn't spinning around 2 entire times. If I lead into it with an osis first and an osis after, that's probably the easiest way to accomplish it. So clipper, osis, far clipper, double spinning clipper, osis. So as you can see, getting those osis down is really important. The other key to double spinning clipper is not trying to look at the bag. I know it's tempting to spin around once, look at the bag, and then spin again. And it's just not correct. You want to spin twice, find the bag, and then spin into the clipper. So that was a pretty good example. Kenny Schultz did the most double spins in the beginning of the sport, and what he liked to do was he'd kind of have his weight lower right beforehand for the clipper. The lower you are, the wider range you have of motion for the clipper stall there. And so you can have longer to throw it up higher. And also, when you're lower, you can get your spinning momentum better. So right after you throw it up, you can really push hard with your elbows and your feet twisting on the ground like that. So the twisting of your foot on the ground is why it's so important to have a grippy sole to your shoe and or texture underneath. So when you do the double spin, you want to really focus on having a lot of your foot on the ground and using that for the initial momentum. Once I've spun around once, I'm already spinning, so then my goal is, as I'm planting my feet over and over again, to not plant it so long that as I'm spinning, I do that. That'll slow me down, so it's more of a stepping real fast as you're spinning. Ooh, almost dropped it. Oh God! No. All right, that's good.